Hi everyone, today I'm going to be playing Shakespeare with the new Backstage expansion. So you can see this is just a little pack of cards that's going to add some more variations to the game and some more functions. And let's start by just going over what's new in the expansion. If you'd like to skip straight to the gameplay, I'll put a link on the screen so you can do that. Otherwise, let's look at what's new. So we have 9 new actor cards, and these have a few new powers. These will get shuffled into the main deck, and then you remove 9, so there's going to be the same number available for the game, but the 9 that you remove will come into play later in the game. So new powers that are available, we have Richard III, who will advance you in every act, but move you back on your own personal ambience track. Ophelia will get you a +3 token when she's activated. Mercutio advances you on the yellow act, the second act, but he is one of the new characters, the new actors, that only has 2 costume elements. And when he's completed, he doesn't come into play in the dress rehearsals. Straight away, he gets his bonus. He moves further on Act 2. But nothing happens in the dress rehearsal for him. We have Hermione, who is the same, but for the blue act. We have Shylock, who is the same for the red act. And then we have Ghost, whose actor power is that each other player moves back a space on an act of their choice. And when you complete his costume, you get an objective card, the same as if you had activated one of your standard powers. We have Caliban, who moves forward on the second and third acts, and his special power when his costume is completed is the same as Ghost actor power. Everyone else moves back in an act of their choice. Then we have Mark Antony, who moves in the first and third acts, and his power when you complete his costume is that everyone else loses a coin. And then we have Exit Pursued by a Bear. And the bear's special ability is that you will always take the first action in a round, and then normal turn order will start. And when you complete his costume, you advance in an act of your choice. So they are all the new ones. We mix those in, take 9 out, and they will come back later. We have new objectives. So 1 more new objective. This one is a point for every assistant you have, the ones that boost your craftsman by 1. You get a point for each of those. And then we have these new objectives, and these can be played at the beginning of the ambience phase. They have immediate effect and then are discarded, so you can decide when to use them, and they can be interesting. So instead of taking some endgame points, you could get some benefit right now. So this happens at the start of the ambience phase, so you can boost your personal ambience by 3, which, if you're in the middle, could take you straight to a point. You can take costume and set dressings from the discard pile up to a value of 6. You can advance in each of the acts, or you can take a yellow element from the discard pile, a scenery piece or a costume piece. And they can be played at the start of the ambience phase whenever you want. So they are the kind of additional elements to things that were already in the base game. The big new thing is Backstage. There's a Backstage deck, and we reveal 4 cards from it, just like the actor cards. This is in a 2-player game, I should say. You reveal 4 of them. You reveal more based on the number of players. So there's going to be a display of these, and the Backstage deck really changes up the auction, because if you remember in Shakespeare, at the start of each round, everyone has a blind auction where you say how many actions you're going to be taking that round, and the person who bids the fewest gets to go first. And it was an interesting thing, but it was just kind of, you would lose out by going first, as you should. But now, with Backstage, there's a really interesting thing, because the cylinders that you don't bid, so if I say I want to bid 3 actions to try and get first place, these 2 that I didn't bid, that didn't get used, go on top of the Backstage deck. And you can use them on these cards' powers at any point as an action. So instead of recruiting or activating one of your people, you can use a Backstage card. And you can do the Backstage action as many times as you want. It just has to be on a card with no cylinders on it. So to do a Backstage action just in this example here, you could spend a cylinder, and in this example I have 2 on the Backstage deck here. I could spend one of my cylinders to do this action, and activating him, he is the director, and by activating him I will place 1 fewer exhaustion token on one of my employees at the end of this round. I could place on the architect, and this is where the new theatre card comes in. So everybody starts with one of these now as well. And using the architect, I can place 1, 2, or 3 cylinders here if I didn't bid them and they're on the Backstage deck. And I can take a set dressing from the available set dressings for the round and place it on my personal theatre card. So the more cylinders you have, the better the set dressing you can add to it. So if I wanted to, say, use both of my cylinders and grab a 2 from the display, I would place it here at the bottom. I have to start at the bottom. I get a point for doing it. And then, as normal, I would gain my coin. In the future, because there's multiple of these cards in the deck, if I do the action again and put another set piece on, I get the bonus for everything that's on here. So I can really stack up bonuses by the time that there's all 4 on there. And I get a point if I put the 4th on there at the end of the game. I can activate Kit Marlowe with 1 cylinder. He would let me advance in an act of my choice. All 3 cylinders, he would let me move on all 3 acts. And the Barkeep would let me increase my ambience, 1 with 1 cylinder and 3 with 2 cylinders. And there's all sorts of other things in there that will come out during the playthrough. But that's an idea of what special powers can come from this Backstage deck, and I think it makes the auctions even more interesting, because not having so many actions on your actors and craftsmen isn't necessarily that bad a thing, because you're going to get to use some very powerful actions in the Backstage area. So I am going to get this all shuffled back up, and I will be back for the playthrough. Okay, and we are ready to get going. I'm going to be playing a solo game here, and that does lose a little something from the main game in that the whole first phase, the auction and deciding what actions you're going to take and how many are going to go on the Backstage deck, that's all lost. But I can't see, I might be missing something, but I haven't been able to see in the rules or on Board Game Geek if anything actually changes for the solo game. Because it just says, in the main rules, it says skip the first phase entirely. And there's no kind of clarification on the rules, so I assume that in the solo game you just get to pick and choose where you put your cylinders. You can put them on the Backstage things if you want to. I could be wrong on that, but as I said, I can't find any clarification at the moment. So let's just get started. So we are at the very end of setup. I need to pick a actor or a craftsman to start me off, and I do like the look of a craftsman, a set designer that could get me 8 points worth of set dressings at the start of the game. I think I'm going to start with him. So let's grab him. These go away. And now for the first day of 6 in Shakespeare, we are ready to start the first round. And so I will be able to recruit in the future. You can recruit once per round with your recruitment card. And I have all of my cylinders available to do the various things. So I think I want to get this guy activated. And there are no 1s, so it's going to take 2 cylinders to activate him. And let's see which kind I would like. If I got a 4 with him, then I would get 2 on the ambience track, which would move me up an act. Or I could just get some money, because money is important because you need to pay for your employees at the end of the game. I have taken this guy who is going to cost me 5 at the end of the game, so hopefully he makes himself worth it. So let's see. There is no benefit to taking a 3 really, because it's not going to get me anything every time it's reactivated. Because every time we put something on this, all of the things are going to activate. So in a solo game, this isn't going to do me any good, because normally it would make everyone else move back on their ambience track. But in the solo game, obviously that doesn't matter. So I'm going to use 2 cylinders on the architect. I'm going to grab this 2 set dressing to build the theatre. So I'm going to get a point for that. So I move up to 6 and I'm going to get my very first coin. So I have 1 out of the 5 I need so far. And every time this guy comes out and I use him in future, this coin is going to keep happening. Next, I think I'd like to recruit. Since I've got a very good set designer, I would like a costume designer as well. So I'm going to recruit her, and then let's activate some people. So I will use my very, very professional set designer, and I am going to grab 8 points of set dressings. Now, I can't take these yellow ones. These are special and only a jeweler can take these. So I could just take the 5 and the 2, and that would be under 8. Or I could take the 2, the 2, and the 3. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Because if the 3 is still here at the end of the round, I'm going to go down in my ambience. And I don't really want that. And the 2s are going to get me coins. And you have to build symmetrically on your set. So I think I will place the 3 there. I'll place the 2 here, which is going to get me a coin, and then I'll place the 2 here so it's symmetrical. And then I'm going to get 2 coins for those 2 level 2 set dressings I placed. And I am not going to lose an ambience at the end of the round, which wouldn't matter so much because it just puts you back on an act, but I might be moving up an act. Okay, now I think I'll use my costume designer and I will grab 6 points of costume, although that isn't possible. I'm only going to be able to get 5, but it's a start. I am going to put 4 here on Shakespeare himself, and let's put the 1 on Falstaff. And when this is completed, we're going to get a bonus, but we're also going to get either points or money based on the total value of their costume. And so I'll be lucky to get Falstaff to one of these low levels, but hopefully we can get Shakespeare to earn us some points because his costume is so fantastic. And I have 1 cylinder left. I think I am going to grab an objective card. So when I activate this, I have the choice. Do I want 4 money or would I like an objective card? I draw 3 from the top of the objective deck and I get to keep 1. So I have 1 of these, not instant use, but I can choose when to use this at the start of an ambience phase. I can take a yellow set dressing from the discard pile, which is good because I haven't got a jeweler to be able to take one at the moment. This would give me points based on the number of complete costumes I have at the end of the game. So if I have 4 complete costumes, I get a point. If I have 5 complete costumes, I get 2 extra points. So I really want to go for costumes if I grab that. And this is all about having excess money at the end of the game. If I can pay 2 extra money at the end of the game, a point. If I can pay 7 extra money at the end of the game, 3 points. I think at this early stage, I am going to grab the costume bonus points. So let's set that aside. These go to the bottom of the deck. And for the first round, I am all done. So now we can move to the ambience phase. I didn't move there, so nothing happened. That resets. And then we reset these cards. So the axes that didn't get taken go into the discard. And we find 4 more. And it's important that this is done now because it can affect what happens when you rest your employees. And these are some new Backstage cards. So we have the Architect again. We have the Hatter, and this is interesting. You can activate her with 1 or 3 cylinders, and she lets you take any element, any non-yellow element from the costume section, and you place it above a character's first space here as a hat. And it doesn't count towards their value or anything, it doesn't complete their costume, but at the end of the game, if the hat and the costume element underneath it add up to exactly 6, you're going to get an extra point. So that can be quite nice. We have the Rag Picker, who gives you a power of your 3 value craftsmen, your set designers or costume makers that are worth 3, like this lady here. They can take elements from the discard pile. We have the Architect that we've seen, And then we have the prompter, and he can be recruited, same as these guys. These both get recruited, and he's going to cost 1 at the end of the game. In the dress rehearsal that we're going to have at the end of round 4, if I am still in these sections, I'm going to lose a point for each of the first 3 spaces I occupy on each act. If I have the prompter, I can pay a money to avoid a penalty. So if I pay 3 money and I'm still in all these 3 sections, I will not lose any points. So he could be quite nice as well. So now I will just refill the set dressings and costumes. Okay, and that's what's come out. A lot of 3s, unfortunately, which is bad because that's bad ambience for me if they remain there at the end of the round. So the last thing to do is rest my people. Now, I have to put an exhaustion marker on the number of works I activated -1. So only one of these is going to be usable next round. So I think I'm going to see what's come out here. We have a lot of people that move me up in acts. Nobody gets me costumes or set dressings. I would like both of these to be available, but I can't do that. So let's just... Since there's so many negative set dressing things, we probably want to get set dressings. So let's rest the costume maker, because we could recruit this guy, and then in the future she's going to be able to take from the discard piles, which could work out very well for us. And let's get started. So I am going to activate the architect again, and I am going to grab, there's not much point grabbing a 3, although it does get rid of the 3. I'm going to grab this 4 though, because this is going to get me 2 ambience, so I move up to there. So potentially I'm going to get a movement on an act at the end of the round, and this gets placed here, and as well as getting that, I get the previous bonus, so I get another coin. And next, let's grab some set dressings. So I can grab 8, so 6 is going to be 2 of these 3s, and then let's grab these 2 1s, so exactly 8 this time. So we want to be symmetrical here with these 3s, and let's place the 1s here. That's symmetrical as well. And we are working our way to these spaces. When these are covered up, that is points. And we could place one right now to grab a point. Let's do that. So that is another point. Okay, I think I would like to recruit the rag picker, because then I am going to let a lot of things go into the discard pile here, and my craftsman will be able to retrieve them for me in future rounds. For recruitment, I think I would like to take this jeweler, because he is going to let me grab the yellow elements. And my last action, I'm going to activate him, and let's grab the yellow costume that's available. And already that's the end of round 2. So we need to lose an ambience because there is still a 3-level element out there, but I'm still going to get a money. I need to get moving on those tracks though. I haven't moved at all on them yet. Then maintenance. So let's grab some new character cards and see what comes out. So another... Wow, a lot of people that will get me great set design. This person will get me these +3 tokens, and these are great because these can be used when you activate a craftsman. You can only use 1 at a time, but they will make them 3 more powerful. And then they're used up, but it's still very nice. And we have Cleopatra, an actor who will get you some costumes as well as improving the acts. And what's happening backstage this round? Another architect. So I think I'm going to keep up with that. Let's just completely destroy the board. I think I'm going to keep up with my architect since I've gone so far already. I might as well keep going, but it is costing me 2 cylinders every round, and is that worth it? And then I'll just refill these. Okay, that's what's available. Let's move on to day 3. The dress rehearsal is coming soon, so I need to get moving on these acts if I want any rewards. Because remember, I didn't take the person that stops me getting punished, so let's see. I need to work out my resting now. So these come off. These guys aren't exhausted anymore. And did I only actually activate 1 actor last round? No, I think I used him as well. So, which one of these is going to be exhausted today? So I have made good strides with the set. And covering him off would mean that I wouldn't be able to take that yellow set dressing, which is worth an extra point at the end of the game, but I could take the 5 and the 3 if I leave him uncovered. Let's just forego the jeweler this round. I could, of course, cover him up and then hire another one, but that is going to be a huge cost at the end of the game for me. So I think we're ready. Let's start the new round. So I am going to use the architect once more. I could place a 5 on by using 3 cylinders, and this is going to get me a +3 token. But let's see, I could place, I think I'm just going to place another 2. And then let's place this here. So that is going to get me 2 coins and 2 movement on my ambience track. So maybe I'll get some movement on my acts. Speaking of acts, I think I would like to use Shakespeare, and let's get some movement on these acts. So I can get, by moving on Act 1, you're going to end up with money. Act 2, if you're in front, you get 2 points, behind you get 1 point. And here you get the more points, the more you have moved along this track. I think I would like to get ahead of these neutral markers here so I can get the 2 points. So I'm 2 movement on any acts I wish. I'm going to get 2 movement on the second act. So thinking about recruitment, I haven't got very many actors. So I think Cleopatra would be a good recruitment for this round. I could still grab some costumes and she will move me on an act. I think I will again activate my set designer, and I can take 8 points of set. So I was going to take the 5 and the 3. Let's do that. So it's 8. So I can put the 3 over here because it's symmetrical, and I'm going to earn another point for doing that. So I'm at 8 now. And then I have this 5, so I get to take a +3 token. And we can place this right in the middle here because it's unlikely that we'll get many 5s, and in the middle it doesn't have to be symmetrical. Now I am going to activate my costume maker, and I think I'm going to give up my +3 token. So I can take 9 points of costumes, and I think I'm going to take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let's see where these are going to go. So Shakespeare at the moment is at 7. If I made him 8, he would be worth money and a point rather than 2 money. Or I can make him 11, so he would be worth 2 points. I think that would be nice. Let's make him 11. So he's finished. He is going to get me 2 points. So we're at 10 now. And then I have these. I don't want to put both 2s on Falstaff because if you make them worth less than 6, then they aren't going to earn you any bonus. But let's... Oh, that's not a very good position for these 2 guys, though. These guys are probably only be getting me money, but it's likely I'll be able to finish their costumes, so they'll get me the act bonuses. And that's the end of day 3. So let's grab some new actors. So we have another jeweler. We have an assistant who cannot be activated, but he gives all of your craftsmen a permanent +1. And what's going on backstage today? So another opportunity to use the jeweler, the hatter, and is he the doubler? No, he's the merchant. So you can take a set dressing that's available that day, and the colour you can take is based on the number of cylinders you placed there. Okay, that's what we have available. We're moving on to day 4, and there's going to be a dress rehearsal at the end of today. And I have to choose who is going to be resting. And that comes down to, who do I want to be available? I think I have to have Shakespeare available to move on some acts because it's looking a little bit dire for losing points. So unfortunately, that means that my amazing set designer and costumer are going to be unavailable this round. So since we left him available, I think we should grab old Shakespeare here. And which acts shall we move up? So on the assumption we are going to complete the costumes for these guys, and I'm not sure if that's entirely possible, but assuming it is, then we're going to get 2 red movement and a yellow movement. We need another yellow movement to be in first, so I'll take that. And then we're going to need another red movement to not be in the minus section. So I think that's what we'll take, and we're just going to have to take the hit on blue for now. But all of this does assume that I'm getting the costume bonuses, so I'd better get them. So we should activate Cleopatra, so we'll get a value 3 costume, which is nice because we can place that on her, and she is complete. She has a value 6 costume, so she earns me 2 money. Now let's take a quick look at the money. I have now earned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and at the end of the game I need to pay 3, 6, 9, 10, 15. So quite short on money at the moment. But I do get movement on an act, so I'm going to end up here on the red. If I can get one more movement on red, I'm going to earn a money. So let's move on red. I did actually forget last round to do the ambience. So reset that. That was when we did the theatre. So I do get an extra act movement. So I think we could start moving. We could start moving on blue, or we could start on, we could keep going on the red or the yellow, because the red is going to earn a lot of money. I don't think we can quite make it to here, but let's have another red movement. Okay, for my recruitment, I think I would like to grab this assistant here, because he doesn't cost much at the end of the game, and he's going to boost my other craftsman. And I would really like to take Beatrice, because she would let me take a green set element if one's available, and there is one available. That's a value 5, and move along in an act. Maybe I should do that, because then I would get to move on red, and I would get to the 3 money stage. So many decisions. Okay, let's do that then. I'm not sure that it's the greatest idea, but let's do it. So now we can activate Beatrice and grab a green set, a green costume, and I could put it on Falstaff and he would then be worth 8, so money and a point. We do need him to be finished anyway, so let's do that. So a money and a point. But I have just increased my endgame costs by 5. And Beatrice also lets me move along an act, so let's move... let's move along blue, because I think we could finish her costume. So if I activate my Jack of all trades here, he can take 4 points in either costume or set dressing. And we could grab, for value 4, we could just get the 4, but that wouldn't complete it. Let's grab the 3 and the 1 and place them on here. And then with my last cylinder, I could place it on the merchant and grab a value 2 and place it on there. So she is worth 6, so she gets me 2 more money. And now, in the dress rehearsal at the end of this round, I have 4 completed costumes, which is also great for my objective. And that's going to give me a lot of act movement. I don't think it's quite going to move me out of the negative for blue, but it should do me well in the other acts. So ambience, nothing moved this round. No 3s came out, so I don't get any negative there. And now we have the dress rehearsal. So we activate the powers of our completed costumes. So I am going to get 1, 2, 3 movement on Act 1, which is fantastic because it's going to get me 3 money. I'm going to get 1 movement on Act 2, which is great because it puts me in the lead. And I'm going to get 1 movement on Act 3, which is a shame. I'm still going to lose a point, but I think we did well to get to this stage, considering we didn't move until, I think, day 3. So now we score the acts. So I'm going to get 3 money for being that far in Act 1. I'm going to get 2 points for being in the lead on Act 2. So we're at 13 now. And then I am going to lose a point for still being in this section of Act 3. And that's the dress rehearsal. It's going to happen again in day 6, the last day. So maintenance, let's see who comes out now. Okay. And what's going on backstage on day 5? So we have another hatter. We have the guy that lets you move on the various acts. We have another architect that I think we need to do the architect because we're only 1 away and it's going to get us a lot of bonuses. So let's move along to day 5 and I'll just replace the set elements. And that's what's available for day 5. And now comes the rest phase. So all of these people that got used are not going to be available in day 5. So I don't really care about using him, so he can be exhausted. And 2 of these 3 are going to need to be exhausted. Now, and a 5 element has come out. So I think it would be good to use her. Cleopatra, not that good. And yeah, let's cover up Shakespeare. I think her power will do me quite well. I am going to need to recruit someone though. I'm going to need to recruit an actor who needs a costume because at the moment I have no free costume spaces. You can, if you're thinking your costs are too high, like I am kind of worried about now, you can recruit people and any people as extras. They aren't going to cost you anything, but they don't give you any power. They do have costume slots though, and they will get you movement on any act in the dress rehearsal. So let's do a quick check on money. I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 money, and my costs are 8, 11, 14, 15, 20. Okay, so I'm still short on that, and I'm still going to be hiring people. So I think we're going to activate the architect because we get that finished and we can get some nice bonuses here. It makes sense, I think, to grab the 2. So let's place that up here. I'm going to get a point for finishing this off. So back to 13. And then I'm going to get 3 money because there's 3 there. And I'm going to move up 2 on the ambience. So I'm going to get a movement on an act of my choice. There's no 3s there, so I'm not going to get a penalty on the ambience. I think let's grab Puck because he is going to get me movement on the 3rd act and give me some ambience. And he only costs 1, so a lot of good things for going for Puck there. So let's activate Beatrice. She lets me take a green set element, so that's a value 5. Let's place it on Puck, and movement in an act of my choice. Let's move along the 3rd act, and oh, that's not me. There we go, I'm here now. And I should have remembered that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, after the first dress rehearsal, the neutral tokens here all get moved to space 8 of the tracks. So I'm going to have to do a little more work if I want to stay in front. I think we could activate the objectives, and let's grab one of them. So I could either move forward in each act. I don't think that's useful to me because I am, with my costumes, I'm already going to get to the end of red. So let's see what else I have. So if my character cards have a total of at least 13 or at least 18, I get points. That is great for me because my characters are very, very expensive. And this is if you've recruited 3 cards that aren't actors or 4 cards that aren't actors. I have recruited 4. So they're both great for me. So it doesn't really matter. Let's just grab that card there. So as long as we finish Puck's costume, which we should, we're going to get 6 points at the end of the game from these 2 objectives. And I have 1 cylinder left, so what could I do? I could activate Puck, I could get ambience, which is going to get me a point, and it would get me a movement on the 3rd act. Or do I want to grab some costume pieces, set designs? Oh, there's a lot of choice. I think I'm going to activate Puck. So I am going to move. I'm going to move on my ambience track. So I am going to get a point at the end of this round, and I can move on the third act. So that's all of my cylinders. So there's no dress rehearsal. So let's move on to maintenance, and it's going to be the last day already. So new actors. Let's see. We have Viola there, who will move on any act and earn me money when her costume's completed. Move on all 3 acts, Lady Macbeth. That's not as good for me because, as I said, I have finished the red track, the first act. So I'm going to get 3 movement from my completed costumes. So there's no need for me to get any more movement there. So we have a new backstage card here. 2 more architects, but this guy, he will get you 2 money, and you can either take the top card of the, I think it's called the Lord's deck. They are basically the 9 cards we removed at the start of the game. We can take the top card of here and get 2 money, or if we put 2 cylinders down, get 2 money and look through the deck and pick the card we want. That could be very nice indeed. And let's move it to day 6, the last day, and I will refresh these elements. Okay, that's what we've got available there. And I need to work out resting. So what are we going to do without? Let's see, no green elements have come out in this last round because we've run out of them. So I think we are okay to let Beatrice rest. Puck would be nice because he would get us that blue movement. So at the moment, assuming we would finish his costume, we're going to get 2 more blue movement, which is there. It would be nice to get at least 1 more, although Shakespeare could do that. So it comes down to, do I want to grab another objective card or do I want to use Puck? I think I'll grab another objective card because Shakespeare can move me along the blue track, or Cleopatra. So let's give Puck a rest. And almost forgot my ambience. Always skip past that. I should have another point. So I'm now at 14. So let's grab some set dressing. I could, for a value of 8, grab the 2 3s. So I'm not going to lose 2 ambience, which would lose me a point. Yeah, let's do that because these are symmetrical, so they can go here. And I can put this 2 here, which gets me a point, up to 15 now, and a money, because it's a level 2 set dressing. So that's quite nice. And we want some costume pieces. So this is probably what I want to do next, because I would need value 5, really. To get another point in set dressing, I need to take up the 4 and the 1, because I need something to build on, to build the pyramid here. I don't think there's particularly anything in the backstage that's very interesting in this last round. Perhaps this guy, because he would let me recruit someone that could potentially be useful and earn me 2 money, but that person could end up costing 5 money. I think let's activate the jeweler and let's take this value 3 here and place it there. And then I'm going to activate Cleopatra. I'm going to grab this normal 3 here, place it there. So Puck is complete. He has 11, so he's going to earn me 2 points. I'm at 17 now, and that is the 5th complete costume. So both of these objectives are fully complete. Okay, let's take a little bit of a risk. Let's go on here. I'm going to get 2 money for this. So how much does this give me altogether? 19, 21. 21 currently, so I'm okay if it costs 5. What do we get? The top guy, exit pursued by a bear. Not particularly great in the solo game going first, and he's in the last round anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I have the money to pay for him. Let's see, 2 movement on an act I don't think is going to help me. Let's see, I'm going to get to the end of red, I'm going to get to there on blue, so 1 more movement on blue would be nice, but it's only 1 more point. And on yellow, 2 more movement doesn't put me in first place, so that doesn't really matter. We could go all out and just go for an objective. Or we could fill up the bear's costume we would get 2 money for it, which is irrelevant, and get 1 movement, which isn't necessary. Okay, let's grab an objective. Let's see what comes out. So we can get a gold piece, which is going to be worth an extra point at the end, but that's all it's going to be worth. Giving up extra money at the end. I do have some leftover money, but only 1 point's worth, but this is the one. This is the same as the other one I've got, but for actors rather than craftsmen. I have 4 actors, 2 points for having 4 actors. It occurs to me now that I might have been saying that I get the whole points for these. You only get the points for the one you've got the most of. The only objective card that can earn you 3 is... well, I can go through it now. I've finished here, there we go. For being in the first place of all of the acts, but I haven't done that. So let's see, that was my last cylinder, so that's the end of the game. Ambience didn't move, I took those 3s, didn't I? So, dress rehearsal. So we have movement on the acts. 3 movement on Act 1. 1 movement on Act 2. 2 movements on Act 3. And then we score them, so 5 money, 1 point, 1 point. And then we don't do maintenance and rest, so now objective cards. So I have 5 completed costumes, so that's 2 points, 21. I have 4 craftsmen, that's 2 points. I have 2 actors, that's 2 points. Then let's see about paying our actors. So 6, 9, 12, 17, 24, and I have 5, 10, 15, 18, 21, 24, 2 to spare. So no need to worry. Everyone's paid for. If I couldn't pay for anyone, they would lose me 2 points each. I get a point for each yellow element, so that's 2 points there. And remaining money divides ties, which isn't relevant in a solo game. But there we go. I didn't quite make it to the end of the track, but that's 27 points in a solo game of Shakespeare with the Backstage expansion. And that's it, everyone. If you'd like to hear some thoughts about the game, I'll put a link on the screen there. But otherwise, see you later, everyone.